You want to stay? You can. Hi, welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 447. And if you're joining me live, please say hello. I'll wait a couple seconds for people to get their notifications, pop over from pre-chat, or wherever you might be coming from. So I'm just going to cuddle baby Bjorn for that period of time. If you notice in the thumbnail photo, it was a picture of Becker. Hi, Joe and Rose and Judy. Oh, here we go. Each one of them in the last 5 minutes needed me to pick them up, and now they're both done. Hi, Jill and Cranjeet and Barbara. Thanks for joining live. Hi, Lily and Marcia and Carrie and Christy. I had debated going to the beach this morning, but we have some big storm clouds coming and the thunder's been pretty active, and I thought that was not worth chancing it. Hi, Dee Dee and Harini and Olivia. Thanks for joining live. Hi, sweet Sarah May, or sweet Melissa and Brenzy Craig and Cherie. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Carol. Oh, thank you. I braided it just across my bangs this morning and then pinned it and put the rest of my hair in a soft ponytail. I missed some names, sorry. Hi, Becky. And if I hadn't gone to the gym right after my curls last night, I think my curls might have even lasted through today. So how crazy is that for my super fine hair? Super fine and super poker straight hair. Hi, Naomi and Sarah May. Thanks for joining live. Okay, no more kitty quakes on the tripod. If you want to rub your face, you got to do it anywhere else but the tripod. You're going to scare people. I don't know if you saw the tripod shaking, but it's because baby Bjorn was rubbing his face on it. Thank you, Benzie. All right, well, welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 447, and we're live in Southwest Florida. This morning we're in my backyard because it is going to storm, and I didn't want to risk it at the beach, so sorry about that. You know I go to the beach whenever it makes sense, but it did not today, and yeah, he found a new way to get my attention, Brenda. Yes, I'll just rub my face on the tripod and she'll stop what she's doing immediately. Hi, Eleni from Greece. Hi, Edna. All right, so we're in my backyard, but we are going to still work on our tutorial from yesterday, and I can answer any questions first before we get started. So we'll see if anybody has any questions. Do you have any questions? I didn't think so. He's got that face like I could just fall asleep right here. Could you really fall asleep like that? Oh, you little sweetheart. All right. Well, let's see if we have any questions. I'll hold you for one more minute while I look for questions, okay? There were beautiful birds singing a few minutes ago, too. Hopefully they come back. Jane started the Astral cardigan last night. That's wonderful. That's from Layer's Crochet Book. Okay, so let's go back to where we were yesterday and the day before. So 2 days prior to yesterday, we worked on a knit swatch with picots along the cast on, picots along the end of rows, and then picots along the bind off, so that we could get a complete edging around all 4 sides of a square. And this would apply to any stitch pattern, any size square. It could be a rectangle instead of a square. This would work on anything. You could probably do it, well, technically you could do it on any shape, not a square or a rectangle. You could do it on a triangle, a circle, a hexagon, anything. Really is no edge. There really isn't an edge that you couldn't add picots to all 4 sides, which is really wonderful. You could decorate with beads in the picots. You could just do the picots by themselves, and you could create a decorative edging on a coaster, a dishcloth, a washcloth, a baby blanket, a full-size blanket, or a scarf, a shawl, just anything. So many different things you could do this for. So I thought it was really fun to show how to do that in knitting. And then yesterday we started doing it in crochet, and I did a 3-stitch picot for the knit one. So the first thing that I thought to do was a chain 3 picot to be comparable on the crochet swatch. And what you'll see here is that the chain 3 is a little small, and doesn't mean it's bad. I just thought it was a little small for demonstration purposes. So here's the chain 3 where we worked it alternating with foundation single crochets for our cast on, and then we did them at the end of rows, every 3rd and 4th row in single crochet, and then we'll end up doing them on the final row at the top of the piece. But then I thought, to see it show up a little better on camera and to show that there's a million different ways to even do this, you can add a different sized picot. And once I thought about it last night, we could do clusters of picots and make flower petals on here too, but maybe we'll save that for Monday. So here's the chain 5 picot, and you can see that they really are showing up a lot better than the chain 3. Like I said, it doesn't mean one's wrong and one's right. It just means it's a totally different look. So here's the chain 3 picot, and then here's the chain 5 picot. So I'm going to show you how to do the chain 5 picot one more time this morning, and then I will show you how to do the final top row on both of them in picot. Okay, so for now we're doing our 2 even crochet rows. So it's a chain 1, turn your work, and 1 single crochet in each stitch across. So I'll do that for 2 rows before showing you how to add picots in the end of rows. And if anybody has any questions, I'll try to watch the screen as I'm crocheting these. Hi, Lydia. And I will try really hard this weekend to create a blog post putting all of this stuff together in a spot. I've had many requests for my tutorials to be not only in the podcast, but then to be in a succinct place after the podcast, which adds quite a bit more work to it, but I will really try my best to make everybody happy with that request. Someone just asked about my crochet hook. This is part of my Be So Sweet crochet hook set, which comes in lots of sizes. This one is, which one is this one? We've got the 5mm here this morning, and right now I'm working with the 4mm crochet hook, which is a G6, and working with Be So Baby yarn, which is 100% milk fiber and number 3 DK weight yarn. And I think it creates a nice solid-ish fabric with a size 4mm hook. No, missed my stitch. Okay, so now we've done our 2 even rows, and that's how I'm spacing out the picots on this particular piece. I'm doing 2 even rows in single crochet and then a chain 5 picot at the beginning of each of the next 2 rows. So in order to do a picot along an end of row, we do it at the beginning of the row with a chain 5, slip stitch into the 5th chain from your hook, turn your work, and then work 1 single crochet in each stitch across. So we're not doing a chain 1 like we normally do at the beginning of a single crochet row. We're replacing the chain 1 with a chain 5 slip stitch to the 5th chain from your hook. This would be really pretty as the edge of a sweater too. If you're doing a top-down sweater, you could add this to a top-down sweater, and that would be really pretty. It would give you like a beaded edge, almost like a beaded necklace type of an edge to a top-down sweater. That would be pretty also. Okay, so we did our chain 5 picot at the beginning of this row. So we do it at the beginning of 2 rows in a row. So for the next row, we'll do a chain 5 and slip stitch to the 5th chain from our hook, turn our work. Sure, Joe, you could do this instead of the fringe on the Owen baby blanket. The only thing is that blanket is not done in one piece, so you wouldn't do the picot the same way you're doing the picot here. You wouldn't be doing it all at the same time, but if on any blanket that's made in motifs like the Owen blanket, what you would want to do is a row of single crochet or a round of single crochet around the entire blanket, and then you could add picots in there. When doing a round of single crochet around a square, you want to put extra stitches in the corner. So you'd want to put 3 stitches in the corners instead of 1 stitch. It's 1 to 1 along the sides, but 3 in the corners for single crochet. And then you'd want to add your picots accordingly. So you would decide where to put your picots. Would they go every 3 stitches, every 5 stitches? Would you put extra picots in the corner? As long as you put extra stitches in the corner, you may not need to put extra picots in the corner, but you will need to put extra stitches in the corner in order for that final round to lie flat like the rest of the blanket. And that would apply to any square blanket then, not just the Owen blanket. But yes, if you wanted to omit the fringe and do picots instead, or do picots. And so the kind of picot you're going to do is the picot that we're going to do on the final row. So you wouldn't be doing the cast on or the foundation single crochet and oval and picots at the bottom, and you wouldn't be doing it along the end of rows. You're going to be doing the one that I'm going to show you in a couple seconds here. I've got to do 2 more even rows to keep my pattern even, and then once I do that, I'll show you how to do the final top edge in the picot edging, and that's the one that you would use if you're working in the round to add this edging to an existing square fabric or existing fabric of any kind. What I'm showing here is if you're combining edging for the entire perimeter while making something in rows, but if you're going to add this after something, the top edge is the one you'll be doing. Do I have a plain square that we could do that on? No. I could bring that for Monday too, because I do want to show you how to make other shapes with the picots. We could add multiple picots in both the knitting and the crochet to create flower petals, which I've done many times on lots of different projects. Shawl edgings is what's coming to my mind. And so I'll show you how to do that, as well as how you would add this to an existing fabric. More homework for Monday. Okay, so I think we've got, do I have 1 row? I have 1 row, 1 more row. Who's sitting with me now? Baby Bjorn. Becker's out here too. Almost there. Okay, so now we've finished our 2 even rows. Yes, there's somebody cooing in the background. I don't know if it's a dove. I don't know enough about birds to know what kind they are, but oh, here comes Becker. Did you want to come say hi, sweetheart? We can take a break to say hi to Becker. Yeah, we can. Hi, baby. Do you want to say hi to everybody? Maybe? Maybe not. You want me to rub your belly for a second? You want down now? Do you want down? I'm kind of busy. Can we pick this up later? Can we pick this up later? Okay, I'm gonna let you down. Wood pigeons in Ireland. I don't know if we have those here, but I do know we have mourning doves here. I know, is that so sweet? Oh, Glory thought the birds were out her window. Yeah, I heard a lot of birds before we got started, but now that the thunder's coming and the storm's coming, I wonder if the birds are checking out of here. I don't blame them. Okay, so now we've done our lower edge and we've done our sides in the picot. So now I'm going to do picot along the top edge, and I'm going to try to replicate the spacing that I did here at the bottom. So I'm going to start the row with a chain 5 picot, chain 5, and slip stitch to the first chain or the 5th chain from the hook, however you want to word it. And then I'll turn my work and I'm going to single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Okay, and then we'll work a chain 5 picot, chain 5, and slip stitch into the 5th chain from our hook, and then single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. How easy is this, right? Okay, so we did 3 single crochets and a chain 5 picot, chain 5, slip stitch to the 5th chain from our hook, and then single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Chain 5 picot, single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, chain 5 picot, and then we'll slip stitch in the last stitch. And we have scissors. I thought we had scissors around here. Ouch. Wait till you see how pretty this looks. Look at this. So our top edge now perfectly matches our bottom edge, and our sides match as well. How beautiful is that? You could do this on any project. And now that I've shown you how to do that top edge, that's the one that you could use if you were going to add a perimeter around any project that's already made. So let's say you already have a piece of fabric. What about even crochet on fabric? What if you wanted to take one of the Redbubble chiffon scarves or something like that, or a napkin or a handkerchief, and you could add single crochet and chain 5 picot along the edge of that as well. You could do it along the edge of, what do you call it, pillowcases even, or handkerchiefs. It'd be so delicate and cute. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Maybe. So keep in mind, if you're working around the perimeter of something, it's what I did at the top here that you would add to the whole perimeter. You'd add a picot and then 3 single crochets, or however many single crochets you wanted to put between your picots. I like this spacing. Yep, you could do it on t-shirts too. Yep, if you wanted to cut the neck out of a t-shirt, you could add this as the edging instead of any other stitches. Where you would add a bead into the center chain. So however many we'll do beads next week too on picots. We'll keep going with picots. So if you were going to add beads in here, I would put the bead into the center chain of whatever size picot you're making. If you're making a chain 3, I would put it into the 2nd chain. If you're making a chain 5 picot, I would put it in the 3rd chain. 3 is the halfway point of 5. So if that way, it would be positioned in the center of the picot. And I'll show you this side by side with the knit one too, and you can see how incredibly similar they are as well. They need to be blocked a little bit. But what a great way to add in simple edging to a project as you're making it. I mean, I would love to see a baby blanket in either of these. It would be so, so cute. Yep, great. It would be great on the edge of socks. Be great as a necklace. It would be great as a headband. Imagine doing a skinny headband or a skinny scarf where you did a long edge of the beginning picots, couple of short rows, and then picots along the other edge so that both sides of the long edge had the picots on it. If you were doing a skinny scarf to put beads on all of that, that would be gorgeous. So imagine if this was just that much shorter. Or imagine this as it's just a headband in that size. If you just made this super long, that would be such a great size for a headband. This would be a great size for a skinny scarf too. Does anybody have any other questions about what I showed you today? We'll work on clusters of picots and beading the picots next week, just to give this the full spectrum. Oh, and maybe work around a perimeter so I can show you how to do the increasing in the corners too. Yeah, beads in picots at the edge of socks, that sounds great. Beads in picots is so cute. Hi, Patty. Buenos dias. I'm waiting to see if there's any questions. Jane's loving Be So Sporty yarn. Wonderful. Ah, Christine's done picots with beads on baby socks. Good for you. That's nice. Yes, TGIF. That's a good thing to say. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody has fun weekend plans. Yep, it will be back in the morning on Monday. All right, doesn't look like there's any questions. Looks like I covered it above. So let's grab our Create, Share, Inspire notebooks and see if anybody wants to pick a number between 1 and 5. Another number 4 request. Okay. Number 6 is almost done, and I should have that one should be releasing in the next few days. We've done a lot. This is an interesting one. Jean de La Fontaine. A person often meets his destiny on the road he took to avoid it. Depending on whether or not you believe in destiny or not, and it could just be the word, doesn't matter what's meant for you, doesn't matter if something is meant for you, it doesn't matter how far you try to run from it, it'll always catch up with you. It reminds me of even just running away from your problems, right? If you think that running away from your problems is going to make them go away, it doesn't. They always find you. So, I mean, I guess depending on whatever type of word you want to put in there, if something's meant for you, there is no way to avoid it. So the better, the more effective thing to do is to face it head on and deal with it, right? Which often takes courage and patience and all sorts of other tough emotions. But if you face it and work on it, you can get past it, and that is way better than running, because then you don't have to run from anything, you just fix it. Destiny would be the same thing. If something's coming for you and something is meant for you, doesn't matter what you do to try to avoid it, it will find you. So Jean de La Fontaine, a person often meets his destiny on the road he took to avoid it. This also reminds me of when you wish for something a whole lot, right? Oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, wish I had that. And then you finally stop asking for it. Isn't that often when it comes anyway, right? I think that's another example of this type of mentality as well, is that when you finally just let it go and don't stress about it anymore, it will end up coming to you. So there's all sorts of ways to apply this one. Interesting, but a good one nonetheless. All right, well, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy Friday morning to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise, the little bit of birds we had this morning, the kitty cuddles, the demonstration tutorials, and chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you Monday morning. And don't forget, the Christmas in July sale is still going on if you want to pick up some of those gorgeous yarns at 25% off. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.